nominate Honorable Tajudeen Abbas.
I so second.
I rise to humbly accept the nomination.
Is hereby declared the winner and returned elected as the Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Not leave any stone unturned. All those areas of weaknesses in the Electoral Act, we are going to revisit them.
Speaker Abbas Tajudeen promises better Electoral Act ahead of 2027 elections.
The issue of out-of-school children is a multifaceted problem with far-reaching consequences.
And lawmakers call for measures to check the high incidence of out-of-school children. This is House Ticket, your window into the activities of the House of Representatives, Federal Republic of Nigeria. A warm welcome. My name is Dihelia Mamza. The program, as usual, will look at motions and bills that lawmakers deliberated upon in the last 1 week. In addition to that, we have a report on the visit of the special committee set up by the House to investigate crude oil theft, as it made an on-the-spot assessment of vessels arrested by a private security outfit in collaboration with security agencies in Delta State. Still in our lineup is a courtesy visit by the European Union to the office of the Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Abbas Tajudeen. All of this coming up in today's package of the program. Keep watching.
Hi, Abbas Tajudeen. The House will pay priority attention to participatory budgeting process and delivery, law reform, electoral reform, women's participation and inclusion in governance, among others.
Welcome back. We begin with matters of urgent public importance, motions from the other paper, as well as bills at various stages of consideration. On Tuesday, 13 February 2024, Representative Igariwe Iduma Enwo moved a motion on the urgent need for the federal government to re-examine the list of the proposed states to fill the 12 vacancies created in the disadvantage of others in high courts in the Federal Capital Territory.
Under the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, Number of Judges Act 2003, the principle of federal character of Nigeria shall be applied in the appointment of judges to the court, implying that the number of judges of the FCT High Court must always reflect the 36 states and the FCT. Concerned that whereas every state of the Federation has judges from their respective states appointed in the FCT High Court system, 4 states, namely Ebonyi, Abia, Imo, and Bayelsa, do not have a single indigene from their states appointed and sitting in the FCT High Court system.
Representative Enwo called on the Chief Judge of the High Court, Abuja, to halt the exercise till these abnormalities are corrected, and that the House Committee on FCT, Judiciary, as well as that on federal character should ensure compliance. The motion was voted on, adopted, and referred to the House Committee on Federal Capital Territory, Judiciary, as well as that on federal character.
Rise this afternoon to move a motion.
Moving on to motions from the other paper, Representative Henry Odianosen Okoji moved a motion on the need for drastic action against health facilities that refuse treatment of accident or gunshot patients without police reports.
The provision of Section 1 of the Compulsory Treatment and Care for Victims of Gunshot Act 2017 provides that every hospital is to receive and treat victims of gunshot wound with or without police clearance. and/or payment or any initial deposit, but are duty bound to report to the nearest police station within hours of commencement treatment on the victims. The House also notes that the Section 7 of the Act states that any authority or persons whose omission results in the unnecessary death of a gunshot victim shall be liable to imprisonment for 5 years or fine in the sum of 500,000 or both.
The House then resolved to urge the Federal Ministry of Health and its regulatory authorities to take immediate and decisive action to address the issue of hospitals and healthcare facilities refusing to treat accident or gunshot patients without a police report. Also urged the Federal Ministry of Health to enforce regulations prohibiting hospitals from denying or delaying emergency medical care to victims of accident or gunshot wounds without a police report and impose appropriate sanctions and penalties. Further urged the Federal Ministry of Information through the National Orientation Agency to organize an awareness campaign to educate the public, hospitals and healthcare professionals about the necessity of immediate medical assistance for accident or gunshot victims. Mandate the Committee on Healthcare Services to ensure compliance and report back within 4 weeks for further legislative actions.
Those in support of this motion say aye.
The motion was voted on, adopted and referred to the House Committee on Health Institutions.
The ayes have it.
The issue of out-of-school children is a multifaceted problem.
Representative Ayodeji Alao Akala moved another motion which was on the need to curb the number of out-of-school children.
The issue of out-of-school children is a multifaceted problem with far-reaching consequences. Further cognizant of the significant role and obligation of parents and guardians in the prompt attendance of their children and wards in school, as well as consequences of their failure as captured in Section 2, 2, and 4 respectively of the UBEC Act. Concerned that the actualization of promoting the right of education is bedeviled by issues such as low enrollment of children, particularly the girl child, low completion of basic education, shortage and poor quality infrastructure of schools, amongst others. Believe that education plays a crucial role in the breaking of the cycle of poverty and promoting social and economic development.
Several resolutions were taken, amongst which include urge the federal government to increase the budgetary allocation for education to accommodate free basic education for Nigerian children. Also urge the Ministry of Education to ensure the realization of free basic education for all Nigerians' children with no hidden charges and fees. Also urged state enforcement agencies to hold children found loitering during school hours and have their parents face the appropriate consequences. Mandates the Committee on Basic Education and Services to ensure compliance.
When it comes to education, it's actually the product of the state.
The motion enjoyed the support of lawmakers.
If we do not pay attention to the character and quality of those we elect to man the state, all this talk we're talking here will never be implemented. Money has gone into basic education now than at any time, including the last 3 years. The emergency schools were built without consultation with those who were managing the emergency systems, and the government did not express interest. There's the BESDA scheme, which was brought in by the World Bank. The federal government took the facility, distributed it to the states. Nothing has happened. Why? You have governors who show absolutely no interest in education.
When it comes to education, it's actually the product of the state, not the family. So, Mr. Speaker, please, the governors are key in this. So after we pass the budget, I'm thinking strategically here as a leadership, I think it will be wise to engage the Northern Governors Forum and you speak to them and tell them the honest truth of what happens after we pass the budget. It is pointless. Honorable Clement made a point, even if we dedicate our constituency or zonal intervention by 50%, which I have an issue with because the problems of education in my state might not be as bad as in Lagos State. So it's not a one-cap-fits-all here.
The Committee on Basic Education need to get to work. They need to appreciate their mandate. They have the powers to interface even with the state. The intervention from UBIC is a marriage between federal government and the state. The intervention is a counterpart funding arrangement between the federal government and the state. And UBIC has a yardstick for measuring performances of states. States are not meeting up. There are ways that they can be dealt with. So I think really and truly, we should just be mindful of our actions. We should take more actions and talk less.
These amendments say aye.
The motion was voted on, adopted as amended, and referred to the House Committee on Basic Education and Services.
The ayes have it.
Away from motions to bills, the House considered for second reading a bill for an act to amend the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act 2015 to increase the penalty for the offense of female genital mutilation under the act. It was sponsored by Representative Kafilat Ogbara.
Female genital mutilation is a bad act. It is an act that affects our girls and our women. It affects them physically and psychologically. It causes a lot of complications. And from research, we already know that it does not have any medical advantage. Rather, it only complicates their lives mentally and otherwise. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, from statistics, we are aware that over 200 million women and girls have been victims of female genital mutilation. And Nigeria, as a nation, has a very high prevalence of close to 20 million girls and women. This violates their human rights and, of course, their dignity as well.
Those in support of this bill say aye.
The bill was voted on, approved, and referred to the House Committee on Women Affairs.
The ayes have it.
Still at second reading was a bill titled A Bill for an Act to Repeal the Nigeria Shippers Council Act, Cap. 133 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and enacts Nigeria Shipping and Port Economic Regulatory Agency. The bill stood in the name of the Speaker, Right Honorable Abbas Tajudeen, and Representative Abdulsamad Dasuki. The debate was led by Representative Abdulsamad Dasuki.
All we are bringing today, all we are bringing under the Speaker is to make this a law. Why? Because as of today, Nigeria is losing billions of dollars because there's no regulation, there's no law. They say it's regulation and subject to litigation. So because of that, I said yesterday, in my last conversation with the Shippers Council, is that over $27 billion is in contention in court because there's no law. And we know there's so far, there's no success story in the maritime sector or in the port authority, and majority of them is within the waterways. So this law entails to make this regulation a law. That is all it's asking for. All we are saying is what is being implemented today as a regulation should be turned into law. Nothing more than that.
Those in support of this bill say aye.
Aye. The bill was voted on, approved, and referred to the House Committee on Shipping Services as well as that on Ports and Harbour.
The ayes have it.
Meanwhile, on Wednesday, 14 February 2024, the Saudi Shura Council delegates of Saudi-Nigeria Parliamentary Friendship Group were admitted into the chamber for the purpose of observing the House plenary.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The leader of the delegation expressed gratitude at the harmony enjoyed between Nigeria and Saudi Arabia.
My colleague and myself, very happy to be with you today, working hand to hand in order to enhance our parliamentary relation. Really, we look to the country as a country that we should strengthen our relation. We should strengthen our strategic relation. It is one of the most important countries, not in Africa, but for all over the world.
In case you just joined us, the program is House Tickets, a program that keeps you up to speed on the activities of the House of Representatives, coming to you on the parliamentary channel of the NTA. Up ahead is the report of the Special Committee investigating crude oil thefts. The committee was an on-the-spot assessment of vessels arrested by a private security outfit in collaboration with security agencies in Baramatu Kingdom of Delta State on Friday, 9th February 2024. The report.
Chairman of the Special Committee investigating crude oil theft, Representative Alhassan Adodogwa, led chairmen of other oil and gas-related committees for an on-the-spot assessment of vessels arrested by a private security outfit in collaboration with security agencies in Delta State. Speaking during the visit, Representative Adodogwa said the House of Representatives is set to make moves to enact laws that will enhance the involvement of private security outfits in protecting the country's oil and gas facilities, especially following recent reports and videos indicating ongoing incidents of crude oil theft in Bayelsa State.
We'll also see to the possibility of also creating a legal framework where these private institutions, private security institutions like Cttee will be allowed to operate not only on the shallow waters, to go up and operate even in the high seas, to see deep water, to see how they can protect our assets, to see how they can fight seriously against oil theft and this kind of vandalization that has continued to affect adversely the development of our economy.
Representative Adodogwa noted that the House is disturbed about the persistent rise of crude oil theft and crisis, hence the need for the visit. He applauded the security operatives who have been involved in the arrest of vessels used in the criminal activities.
We have seen a complete sense of determination, a complete sense of commitment by the Nigerian security agencies, alongside with the private support and private commitment of the private company we call Cttee. Cttee is one good company that has been doing well for the nation and the country for that matter. We have seen how much Cttee has done in trying to protect our oil assets, our economic liveware in the creeks and what have you. And this is being led by the chief executive of the company, High Chief Twompolo. And it's in this regard that the committee would like to say a very big thank you to him on behalf of the people of Nigeria and on behalf of members of the House of Representatives.
He also expressed the commitment of the committee to partner with civil security operatives as well as the Nigeria security agencies to protect oil assets across the country. Some of the security operatives spoke about the situation so far.
We've been in partnership with Cttee, and the arrest was made by a joint team from Cttee and my sector. And presently, the ship is under the custody of my sector. So we will be evacuating the arrested crew members to Abuja in the next 2-3 days. Defense Intelligence Agency will come and pick them up, and then they'll continue from there.
This particular one is owned by a company called Joju Oil and Gas. Yes, Joju Oil and Gas.
Indigenous company?
It's an indigenous company. As a matter of fact, if I am not mistaken, the promoter and purported owner have also been contacted by the Inspector General of Police's office. I was there when the Inspector General's rep was actually making contact with I think they've all been invited to Abuja. Now, when it comes to the MT Kali, similarly, the Inspector General of Police's office has gone very, very deep on the investigation, and they were able to discover that there is a foreign involvement in the Kali, foreign involvement and local involvement. So even the CAC, so many things are involved at the moment, including NEMASA producing what they know, is also there. So they're working very, very hard round the clock to ensure that this time around it is not the usual situation whereby you arrest and then it's gone or something like that. They've been able to drill down even to bank accounts, if I'm not mistaken. That is how far they've gone.
The security operatives also urged government at all levels to strengthen collaboration with private security firms to protect oil facilities.
Help them with the challenges.
Some members of the committee also made their contributions during the visit.
Cttee has done well to, after arresting, also ensure that they hand over equipments and men to the military, who are those who have the official rights and constitutional provision to bring whoever that is a suspect to justice.
I encourage the federal government to encourage Tantita and help them with the challenges so that they can do more, because actually they have done very well in terms of safeguarding our oil and other infrastructures within the marine areas.
In another development, the Speaker of the House, Right Honorable Abbas Tajudeen, has said that the 10th House would work to produce a better electoral act that would ensure improved elections in the year 2027. He noted that the House has already identified some areas in the electoral law that need to be strengthened ahead of the next election cycle. The Speaker made this known when he received a European Union delegation to Nigeria, an economic community of West African states led by the EU ambassador to Nigeria, Ms. Samuela Isopi, at his office on Thursday, 15th February 2024.
We already set the ball rolling. We set the machinery in action. We realize that in spite of all that we did in 2022 to strengthen the law, there were some other issues that crop up that require our attentions, and will not leave any stone unturned. All those areas of weaknesses in the Electoral Act, we are going to revisit them and we are going to review them. I want to assure you that the 2027 election, if God takes us to that time, will be a better election than the 2023.
The Speaker informed the EU delegation that the 10th House has created about 15 friendship groups for EU countries alone, noting that a new one dedicated to the EU and its parliament would be set up soon. He added that the 10th House has raised the number of standing committees dedicated to women and their interests from 1 to 2, namely Committee on Women Affairs and Committee on Women in Parliament.
Women in Nigeria require additional support. It's not easy for a woman to emerge in any political party. It's not easy for any woman to actually emerge victorious in any election. They need to be supported, and those supports can be in several ways. Technical. You can be able to give them more attention in terms of training, in terms of empowerment. There may be some other aspects of your own mission that may entail empowering women. The best people that you should use to actually channel those things are our women representatives, because that will give them more leverage, more credibility, and more chances in the future to come back.
The Speaker noted that the youth in the chambers were also given prominence, saying a special committee known as the Committee on Youth in Parliament was established for members under the age of 45.
The European Union is a strong democracy.
Speaking earlier, Ambassador Samuela Isopi raised 3 issues of concern to the EU, namely women in politics and governance, electoral reforms and interparliamentary relations, adding that the National Assembly remains one of the EU's partners in the support for democracy in Nigeria.
The European Union has deployed for each election an election observation mission with the objective to provide always advice and recommendations on how to continue to improve the electoral processes and how to continue to deepen Nigerian democracy.
And that's it for today. It's been a well-spent educative half hour as we brought you reports of activities and events in the House wing of the National Assembly. House Tickets will be back again next week with another episode documenting the activities and events of your lawmakers in the 10th House of Representatives. I remain Dehelia Mamza saying thank you for watching and see you next week.